I was just thinking as we sang that song that when I was a kid, I like to say I was unchurched. I was vaguely Lutheran when we were kids. I was mostly unchurched, but I was in church enough to get a sense of what it was about. And one thing I love about what we do here is that I can now experience one of these traditional hymns like this. And in it, I see the presence of the Christ in each and every one of us. Now, before when I heard it, no one was telling me about that. And I walked away for many, many years. I think it was probably almost 30 years where I didn't set a foot in the church at all. And I've shared before that when we moved from Michigan to Western North Carolina, which was in 2003, Heather was working the night shift. She's a hospice nurse, was working the night shift. And one of her workmates was telling her about this church that she really loved. And so Heather started telling me about this church. And I thought, what is going on here? Because when we got down here, I would explain to people in Michigan and say, you hear there's a lot of churches down here? You wouldn't even believe how many churches there are. I said you could take a stone, close your eyes, spin around and throw it, and it would hit 3 churches and bounce off one to the next one, to the next one. Now, if you're from up north, you understand what I'm saying. And so to hear my wife tell me that she thinks I might like a church was the weirdest thing I thought I would ever hear in my life. About the third time, now those of us who are married understand this, about the third time I thought, maybe I ought to better check out what she's talking about. And guess what? She was right. No. All the ladies like, She was right. I heard things I had never heard before. I heard about the Spirit that's in each and every one of us. I heard about a Jesus of Nazareth who is, my first minister would refer to him alternately as the master teacher and also a master psychologist. Jesus of Nazareth got how people's minds work and dedicated his life to showing them what, for whatever reason I will never know, he saw God in everything, in everyone, and everywhere all the time, which is why I say that, and decided how am I going to express this to everyone? And if you read the Gospels with that in mind, you can see him every single angle he could come at to it, saying it's like this, it's kind of like that. Think of it like this, think of it like that. Trying to open the door, hoping that people would walk through it, right? Because nobody can reach inside my mind or your mind and flip a switch and have the light go on, right? We need to be open to it. We need to set the intention to see it. So in this Advent season, I'm reminded, in the way I think of it is, we are celebrating the time when this God awareness showed up in a person who was so notable that we're talking about it this much later, right? Something extraordinary went on. I wasn't there. I don't know what it is, but I know what's underneath it. And that's the love of God that is everywhere, for everyone, all the time, right? There is nowhere God is not. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. So that is what has brought me here, believe it or not. And I am the most surprised person amongst all of y'all that I'm standing here doing this. There's something going on here. And when I first heard it, I thought, I have got to hear more about this. I want to know what this is about. So, as I've said many times, be careful what you ask for, because you may get it. Because here I am in front of you today, whether I like it or not. Here I am. You answer the Spirit's call, amazing things will start to unfold in your life. You can even be somewhat reluctant. It's okay. The power and the presence of God in you will carry you through anything. You can do anything that the Spirit is guiding you to do. The title of my message today on this third Sunday in Advent, where the theme is love. That's why we have the pink candle as the third candle. The theme is love, love that makes a way. Love is not just an emotion that we feel, but it is a presence. It is a presence and a power that flows through us. I've heard it said, I don't remember who said this, but love is an action word. It is a verb, right? It's not just an emotion. We think it's an emotion, but it is an action. When we love something, we put that into action with them. In 1 John, we read, if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. And I would say, if I got to edit it, I would say, when we love one another, we realize that God lives in us and always has, right? And God's love is perfect in us. Perfect, of course, meaning whole and complete and lacking nothing. Right? As God is whole and complete and lacking nothing. Jesus taught, and I read this in the Gospel of John 13, I give you a new commandment. That's an extraordinarily powerful opening. And also the kind of thing that Jesus would say that got him in a whole lot of trouble with the religious authorities of his time. You know, at every time and place, there are always folks who seem to think it's their job to run around and make sure everyone's doing everything right. You understand what I'm saying? So at Jesus' time, there were what I call scroll thumpers. Scroll thumpers run around saying, you can't say that. You can't do that. How dare you talk about that in that way? Right? That was thousands of years ago. This is just the way we humans are. Right? There's always some of us that want to go and make sure everyone's doing everything right according to the way that we think. So for Jesus to say things like, I give you a new commandment. Like, who are you to be making up commandments? Right? Who do you think you are? You can imagine how upsetting that would have been to the religious authorities at that time. Yet that's what was said. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Oh, that's a good commandment. That should be the first and the last one. That you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. Right? Do as I have done. As I have loved you, I want you to love each other. Use this as a model or an example, and then you go and do the same thing. This is a new commandment. Unreal. Unreal. That's one of the things that drew me to this, especially when I started to get into Bible scholarship. I was very curious, where did this come from? And you can read scholars, and of course there's always a variety of opinions. But who said this, and who are they talking to, and what is going on? And as I read and learned more about what the world was like at that time, many of the things that Jesus said, it jumped out to me how outrageous they were at the time. I mean, now we're like, yeah, okay, that's what the Bible says. We're used to it. Oh boy, back then, he was not holding back. He was not holding back. He was on a mission to share the presence of God that's in everyone, in everywhere, all the time. And to show us what does it mean to live from that truth, to love one another, just as Jesus modeled that love. Extraordinary, extraordinary. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore said, love is the great harmonizer, right? It brings into harmony all pieces and parts. It's not quite like glue. I have trouble finding other words to say that. Love draws and attracts all that is good and harmonizes all that is good, right? It intertwines and underpins all that is good in this world. Love is the great harmonizer. And for us, Advent is about awakening to love as the very life of God expressing in us, through us, around us, and as us. That's how important this is. Love is one of Unity's 12 powers, of course, located in the heart center, and is been described as the harmonizing magnetic power of God. It draws all good things to it. Co-founder Myrtle Fillmore said, love is the great magnet that draws good. That's in her How to Let God Help You book, which I highly recommend. One thing that we can do to put this into practice is to pause and feel love. We can use our divine power of imagination to feel love radiating from our heart space, right? Softening, healing, harmonizing. Let's do it for a moment now. It really is as simple as this. You close your eyes and take a breath. Bring your awareness within and use your divine power of imagination to see love in your heart center radiating out as a light. It could be a golden light, whatever it is the Spirit calls, however the Spirit calls you to see it that way. And know that that is the very presence of the Spirit in you. I had a teacher that said, because this stuff can be difficult to apprehend, right, to get. It took me a long time to really get how this works, what is going on. It's hard in a way to get out of your head and into your wordless, silent heart space, right? The divine presence in you doesn't trade in words or even in ideas, right? It is a silent presence that is within you. It can be difficult to understand. She would say, it might feel like you're making this up. That's how it's supposed to feel. And I said, thank you for saying that. Right? You are allowed to use your divine power of imagination to create what might that be like. That heart center, that loving heart center within me, what might that be like? And trust me, if you're off base a little bit, so what? The Spirit will show you the way. Right? You cannot steer a car that's not moving. If my car's facing this way and I want it facing that way, good luck, unless that car is moving. So get your heart space moving. Get your consciousness moving. And if it feels like you're making it up, fine, do that. That's getting your consciousness moving. You can correct along the way. Don't worry about it. God is always showing us the way, always illuminating our path forward. The name of the game is not to never make a mistake. The name of the game is always return to the God presence within. Right? Mistakes, that's how we learn, by the way, anyway. Right? It's not a problem, never a problem. I deeply appreciate, I was going to say love, how the power of love, how divine love in us acts as a way maker. It makes a way. It makes a path where there was no path. A door opens where before there was no door. Right? There is no explanation for this. One cannot make sense of it. This is that, as we know, the peace of God that passes all understanding. What an odd way to describe the peace of God. Why would you say that it passes all understanding? Because your thinker has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if I understand what it is, how it works, or not. Right? It defies understanding. It exists at a level below understanding. It's at the very core of who we are. And that's true of all of creation. It's a love that passes all understanding. It opens possibilities, seemingly out of nowhere. Right? Where before there was nothing, now there is something. And I guarantee if you set the intention to put this at the center of your life, to put God at the center of your life in this way, you will experience that over and over. So many times that you'll stop even wondering about it, and you'll be more like, of course, thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for that notion, that idea, for that understanding, for that vision, that seeing of that door open. Because although the Spirit will open a door, guess who has to walk through it? You do. No one can do that for you. I can't do it for you. No one can do it for me. I have to walk through the doors that open. Here's some practical expressions of this. There is what I would call a loving kindness meditation. In the Buddhist tradition, it's called metta, M-E-T-T-A, a loving kindness meditation. And it is a meditation where we turn within and express, may you be safe, thinking of all of creation, may you safe, may you be happy. May all the conditions for happiness arise within you. May all beings be safe and be happy. If you sit with this as a meditation, it'll change your own perspective, your own point of view. Many times, if, say, we're feeling sorry for ourselves, right, which happens, I've had teachers say to me at times when I was feeling down, and I've spent a lot of times feeling down, among other things, what have you done for other people lately? Oh boy. Guess what the answer always was? Nothing. Nothing. It's so self-involved. Why is this? Why is that? Why can't I? Why do I have to? That energy. The antidote to that, the way through it, is to get my mind off of myself and onto what can I do to be of service in the world. It can be the smallest little things. Smile at somebody. If you're in the store, just being genuinely open and present, appreciating what people do. I have never worked in retail, but I know enough to know that working in retail is not easy. And working in retail during the Christmas time is even less easy. So a simple smile from you, acknowledging gratitude for, it's like, thank you for being here, so that I could come here and do what I need to do, which I could not do if you weren't here. So thank you. And you don't have to say that. You could say it out loud if you want, but you don't have to. Just let your smile say that. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here with you. If you're carrying that around in your heart, you are a healing presence. That is God's presence in you, healing through you, because you opened the door and let it flow. All right. Instead of, like me, sitting at home, why me? Why this? Blah, blah, blah. I ask you this question for contemplation. Don't hurry to answer it. As I've said, why worry? Why ruin a perfectly good question with an answer? What does love want to do through me today? So I just gave you an example of being an open, genuinely grateful presence, smiling at a store. What does love want to do through me today? So carry that into your prayer time as you move ahead this week. And put into action whatever it is that comes up for you. You say, well, I kind of feel like maybe I'm being guided to do this. Well, go find out. Right? Again, you can't make any mistakes. That guidance that is within us is always present and always reliable. Even if I get it wrong, it's okay. Because the God presence is always there. It is very much just like a GPS in your car. You think of it as your God positioning system, right? Your GPS, if you miss a turn, what does it do? What does it say? Recalculating. What does it not say? You should pay more attention. There you are, daydreaming again. Now you're going to be even later than you were before. Oh, which way should I go, GPS? Oh, are you sure you want to know? Because last time I told you, it didn't seem like you cared. Okay, that is not what a GPS does. That is not what God does. Never, 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 never. God is like the GPS. You were given guidance to do a thing. You didn't do the thing. Okay, here's your next guidance. Here's your next opportunity. Here I am illuminating. It's as if the Spirit is saying, I'm illuminating your path once again. So what if you didn't see it? Guess what comes next? Illuminating your path. Right? That's what love is. That's what the perfect love, when we talk about the perfect love of God, we mean a love that is without conditions. right? Your GPS shows you which way to go without conditions. It doesn't say, I'll show you as long as you pay attention, as long as I agree that where you want to go is a good place to go. It doesn't do anything like that. It's the same with God. God will always show you the way, always indicate the next step. And if you're like me and you feel like, well, I don't even know what that feels like. How do I access this inner guidance? It makes no sense to me at all. Right? It makes no sense. It's like that peace that passes all understanding. Don't look for sense. Look for instinct. If you had to tie it to anything, go with your gut. Right? You feel it in your body. That's not in your head. You feel it in your gut. And then do that thing. See what happens. And the next indicated action that's right for you will show up. Will show up. I guarantee it. In the Gospel of Luke, I read that, I love these words, God's tender mercy. Right? God's tender mercy guides our feet into the way of peace. Guides our feet. Shows us where to go and what to do. To encounter what? The peace of God. The peace that is God. The love that is God. Right? To let go of anything that any of us might be carrying that is in contradiction to the truth of God. Right? Any ideas that we may be carrying that are not in alignment with the truth of God. These spiritually ignorant notions. I loved when I heard that. The word sin, S-I-N. That word in the Greek root means that you missed the mark. It's like your GPS, you missed the mark. You shot an arrow, you didn't hit a bullseye. Okay. So what do? Shoot another arrow. Right? You just missed the mark. I do it all the time. We humans do it all the time. That is part of being human. You're not human unless you are doing that. Right? You're missing the mark. It's okay if you miss the mark. It's okay if you're carrying an idea in your head that is contrary to the truth of God. Otherwise known as a spiritually ignorant notion. Guess what? We can learn. I can be trained. My wife will attest to this. I can be trained. I can be shown the way, even if you got to show me a million times. I am willing, I can now say with certainty, to walk through that door when it opens. It might have to open 10 times, but I'm willing and I will do it. So here's our affirmation that I want to close with. I'll read it and then we can repeat it together. The Christ presence of love in me blesses, heals, and uplifts all whom I encounter, which includes yourself. Let's read that together. The Christ presence of love in me blesses, heals, and uplifts all whom I encounter.